If you've ever felt that dizzying sensation lately, like AI is just evolving faster than you can possibly keep up, and maybe wondering if your skills are, already outdated, well, then you're definitely in the right place today. Our mission isn't just to tell you what's new in AI. That changes too fast. Instead, we want to arm you with some practical frameworks and really a powerful mindset to help you navigate this unprecedented pace of AI advancement. Think of it like building durable, transferable skills, stuff that'll serve you no matter how the tech transforms.
That's exactly right. Spot on. I mean, in a field moving at this kind of speed, developing robust strategies to stay current, it's not just beneficial, it's absolutely essential if you want to maintain your professional edge. And the frameworks we're digging into today, they're designed to give you exactly that critical advantage, help you cut through the noise, focus on what truly matters for, your future.
Yeah, that dizzying sensation really does capture it. When we talk about AI advancing at an unprecedented pace, it's not an exaggeration, is it? New models, new capabilities, applications popping up all the time. It really can feel like trying to drink from a fire hose.
Yeah.
For you, what's maybe the most surprising or rapid AI development you've seen recently? Something that really underscores this speed.
Oh, that's a great question. And honestly, the answer changes like weekly. But if I had to pick one recent thing that just epitomizes this speed, it's probably the rapid maturing of multimodal AI. Just a year or two back, it felt pretty much like a distant research concept. And now we have models seamlessly blending text, images, even audio inputs, doing things that, felt like sci-fi just yesterday. And that's precisely why this deep dive focuses on what we're calling durable skills.
Durable skills. Okay.
Yeah. These are the kind of meta skills for monitoring these super swift developments, effectively evaluating the new tech that comes out and adapting your approach. They'll serve you well regardless of how specific AI tools or platforms transform in the coming years. So this deep dive, it's really designed to help you track these advancements, figure out what's real progress versus just marketing hype, and crucially, cultivate those continuous learning habits.
Okay, so that sheer volume of information, that's hurdle number one, right? When it feels like this uphill battle, just knowing where to even look. What's our starting point? How do we build a reliable system for staying informed?
Right. It all begins with building a really robust information system. And I think there are about 4 key elements to that. First, trusted information sources. And this goes beyond just, listing well-known names. It's about recognizing the patterns of credibility. Are they citing their data? Are they upfront about limitations? How often did their predictions actually pan out? Think of it less like a static list, more like running your own personal intelligence agency for AI news.
Huh. Okay, like an intel agency. I like that.
Exactly. Second, signal versus noise. This is probably the biggest challenge for most people. Learning to distinguish the substantive stuff, the real breakthroughs, from just, marketing hype or trends that fizzle out fast. Most of what you see online, it's noise. Finding the signal is the trick. Third, relevance filtering. You have to consciously focus your attention. Zero in on advancements likely to impact your specific field, your professional interests. You just can't consume everything. Optimize for impact.
Makes sense.
And finally, time efficiency. You absolutely have to create sustainable routines for gathering this info. If it's not sustainable, you won't stick with it. And that fire hose we mentioned, it'll just drown you.
Yeah, that signal versus noise point is huge.
Yeah.
It really feels like half the battle is just cutting through all the chatter online. So what are some practical ways to actually do that without getting completely overwhelmed by it all?
Exactly. And that leads right into the next piece. Beyond just monitoring, we need practical habits for ongoing education, things that are both manageable and genuinely effective. So this involves structured experimentation, actually setting aside regular time to test new AI capabilities yourself. Get hands-on. It's, the difference between reading about swimming and actually jumping in the water. Then there's knowledge sharing, actively participating in communities. Could be online forums, professional groups, even just a Slack channel with colleagues where you exchange insights. This helps you tap into collective intelligence, learn from what others are trying out.
Right, leveraging the group.
Precisely. Next, skill prioritization, focusing on foundational skills that transfer across different AI advancements rather than, say, chasing every single new tool that pops up. Think more conceptual understanding over specific software features. And finally, learning integration, looking for ways to weave learning directly into your regular workflow. Make it a natural, almost invisible part of your day.
I really like that idea of structured experimentation. Can you give us an example? Like, what might that look like for someone listening? Maybe something they could try this week. And for learning integration, What's maybe a simple way to start weaving that into our daily grind?
Sure. For structured experimentation, it could honestly be as simple as blocking out 30 minutes, say, once a week. Use that time to try one new feature in an AI tool you already use, maybe a different prompting technique, or testing a new image generation style if that's relevant. And crucially, document what you observe, even if it's just a few quick bullet points. What worked, what didn't.
Okay, just make a note of it.
Exactly. For learning integration, think about using an AI tool directly in a task you're already doing. Maybe use an AI writing assistant to help draft an email or a summarization tool for a long report you need to get through. The key is applying it immediately and seeing the results. That makes the learning really tangible.
Got it. So, okay, we've talked systems, we've talked habits, but what about how we think about all this change? Because it feels like even with the best frameworks, if your mindset isn't right, it's still going to feel like pushing a rock uphill.
You've absolutely hit on perhaps the most crucial piece of the puzzle. Mindset. Developing attitudes that actually embrace change is fundamental and underpins everything else. So this includes things like comfortable discomfort.
Comfortable discomfort.
Huh.
Interesting phrase.
It is, isn't it? It means accepting that continuous learning inherently involves some uncertainty. Not knowing all the answers right away. It's okay to feel a bit lost sometimes. Honestly, that's usually where the growth happens. Then there's opportunity orientation. This is about consciously shifting your perspective, viewing changes not primarily as disruptions or threats, but as potential advantages, new possibilities, looking for the what if instead of defaulting to the, oh no.
Yeah, flipping the script on it.
Exactly. You also need flexible processors, building workflows and systems in your work that can actually evolve with the technology rather than being rigid and breaking when something new comes along. And finally, maintaining a strategic perspective, always focusing on your underlying goals, your objectives, rather than getting fixated on specific tools, because the tools, they're guaranteed to change. What's fascinating here really is how this mindset piece underpins all the practical strategies we've been discussing. It's basically the engine that drives your future-proofing efforts.
Okay, theory's great, mindset's crucial. But how do we actually do this? Let's get down to brass tacks now.
Right.
What are the actionable tools and frameworks you can actually use? So first up, creating your AI monitoring system. You mentioned an information source framework and an example personal monitoring system in the source material we looked at. These sound like tangible tools people can develop to organize those trusted sources and routines you talked about, right?
Absolutely. These aren't just abstract concepts. They're effectively templates you can adapt for yourself. The information source framework, for instance, it helps you categorize your go-to sources. Who are the key researchers, the industry analysts, specific newsletters, open source communities, and it prompts you to really think about why you trust each one, what's their angle. Then, the personal monitoring system template helps you design a practical, repeatable routine for how you actually engage with all that information. Is it 15 minutes every morning skimming headlines? An hour on Friday doing a deep dive into research papers? It makes that whole abstract process concrete and hopefully manageable.
Right, makes it real.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk evaluating something truly new. This is where it gets really interesting. Imagine you're presented with a brand new AI capability. How do you break it down? What's your process for assessing its true value beyond maybe the initial hype?
Yeah, this is critical. And this is where having a robust technology assessment framework is incredibly helpful. It helps you dissect new developments systematically. Let's use that example from the source material, evaluating the new multimodal capabilities in GPT-4v. Just for listeners who might be new to this, multimodal basically means the AI can understand and process info from different types, like vision and text together. And GPT-4v specifically is a powerful model from OpenAI that brings these visual capabilities into their GPT series. So you break down your assessment into 3 critical areas.
Okay, 3 areas. What are they?
First, capability assessment. What is this thing, really? What can it actually do? So GPT-4v, it solves problems needing both visual and textual understanding together. Think explaining images, analyzing charts, maybe even understanding complex memes. Its performance is significantly better than older text-only models for these visual tasks. It's a big leap. However, it definitely has limitations too. It can occasionally misinterpret really complex images, and importantly, it can't process video, at least not yet. It's new, yes, but it's built on very mature foundation models. That means it's relatively stable despite being novel.
Okay, so understand the core function, its strengths, and its weaknesses. Got it. What's next?
Second, implementation considerations. How would you actually use it in practice? What does it take? Well, it requires API access. That means connecting your own apps or systems directly to GPT-4v, letting them talk programmatically. It can definitely enhance existing text-based workflows by adding visual components. Think transforming content moderation or customer support. Your teams, though, they'd probably need training on effective visual prompting techniques. That's a whole new skill. And yes, cost is a factor. It's typically higher than text-only models, but the potential value for visual tasks might justify that.
Right, the practicalities.
How? And the third area, finally, strategic impact. What's the bigger picture here? How could this affect your goals? Well, this kind of tech could, say, improve content creation processes by maybe 30–40% for visual materials. That's significant. Or it could enable totally new customer service applications, like letting customers upload an image of their problem instead of just describing it. There's also a risk perspective. You risk falling behind competitors if you don't explore similar capabilities. And importantly, this tech is likely to improve really rapidly, think accuracy capabilities probably over the next 6–12 months. So it's a moving target. Your assessment has to be dynamic, not a one-off.
Wow, that's incredibly thorough. So it's really not just about, hey, what cool thing can this new tool do? It's also how it fits operationally, the cost, the strategic potential, the competitive landscape, and even how fast it's likely to change again.
Precisely. It has to be a holistic view. You need the tool itself, its practical implications for your operations, the human side, the tech side, and its broader strategic value and risk. It's kind of the difference between just buying a fancy new car and actually understanding how it impacts your whole commute, your maintenance budget, your long-term travel plans, everything.
That's a great analogy. Okay. And building on that, for personal growth, the sources also mentioned a personal development template and an example learning roadmap. These sound like ways to structure your own learning journey, not just evaluating external tech. Can you give us a quick insight into how those work?
They are indeed. Look, just as you'd assess a new technology for your work, you kind of need a framework for your own skill development too. Makes sense, right? The personal development template helps you define what you want to learn, set clear, measurable objectives, and identify potential resources, courses, books, projects. The example learning roadmap then takes that planning and maps it out over time. What will you focus on this month, next quarter? It just helps ensure your learning is purposeful, integrated into your schedule and keeps you moving forward. It avoids that feeling of just being adrift in this sea of AI information.
Right, to its structure. Okay, perfect. So to start wrapping things up, let's talk quick, actionable tips, stuff people can use right away. When it comes to those sustainable learning strategies, what are maybe your top recommendations for keeping that information fire hose manageable?
Yeah, some quick hits. For sustainable learning, I'd really emphasize time blocking. Literally schedule dedicated learning time into your calendar. This sounds so simple, but most people fail here because they treat it like a suggestion, not a commitment. Treat your learning block like an immovable client meeting. What happens if you skip that? You lose trust, right? Apply that same seriousness to your own future-proofing.
Good point. Treat it like a real appointment.
Exactly. Then, application focus. Learn by immediately trying to apply new capabilities to real work problems you have. That makes knowledge stick. Also, micro-learning. Use those small pockets of time, 5, 10, 15 minutes between meetings for bite-sized learning. Read an article, watch a short tutorial, it adds up. And finally, develop a documentation habit. Just jot down insights, lessons learned, things you tried. A quick note in a digital notebook or a shared team doc can be invaluable later.
Great tips. And for that crucial distinguishing signal from noise point we touched on earlier, any final practical tips to really sharpen that skill? Because that's where people often get tripped up, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. So beyond what we said earlier, when a new development pops up, wait for demonstrations.
Yeah.
Look for concrete examples of it actually working beyond the slick marketing videos or press releases. Show me the proof. Consider the source, always. Weigh information differently based on who's providing it and what their incentives might be. Is it a company selling you something or an independent research group? Big difference. Seek multiple perspectives. Try to compare different viewpoints on new tech, especially from diverse angles, technical, business, ethical. Don't rely on just one take. And always try to bring in historical context. Think about how similar developments played out in the past. Are there lessons from previous tech hype cycles? The tech world loves to declare this time it's different. Sometimes it is, often it's not entirely.
Right. History doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes, as they say.
Yeah.
Okay, and finally, for those listening who are maybe looking to be leaders through all this change, whether leading a team, an organization, or even just within their own professional circle, how can they approach this effectively?
Yeah, for leaders, it really comes down to strategic action and communication. Practice selective early adoption. Don't chase every shiny object. Instead, identify high-value opportunities for testing new capabilities that genuinely align with your strategic goals. Be picky. Knowledge sharing is absolutely vital. Help others around you understand relevant developments. Translate the complex tech speak into clear business impact and accessible terms. Be the translator.
Become the translator. I like that.
Maintain a balanced perspective. Always acknowledge both the huge potential and the very real limitations and risks of new AI technologies. Avoid swinging between blind enthusiasm and paralyzing fear. Find the middle ground, and crucially, ensure strategic alignment. Always connect AI advancements back to core organizational goals and challenges. Show how this new tech serves the bigger picture rather than just being tech for tech's sake.
That's excellent advice. So as we wrap up this deep dive, hopefully you, listening, feel much better equipped, not just to navigate, but really to thrive in this rapidly evolving AI landscape. You've gained, hopefully, the mindset and some practical frameworks to stay current. Remember, it's about building those resilient skills, not chasing every single new shiny object that allows you to approach new developments with more confidence, separate the meaningful stuff from the hype, and focus your energy where it truly matters.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, future-proofing isn't really about predicting exactly what's going to happen next, honestly, who can. It's much more about developing the flexibility, the curiosity, and those crucial learning habits to adapt effectively to whatever does happen. Your commitment to ongoing growth, to staying curious, that's what will ensure you continue to leverage AI effectively, even as the technology itself evolves in ways we probably can't even imagine right now. Just remember to keep that balance, right? Embrace the new possibilities, definitely experiment, but always apply that critical thinking. Stay grounded in the fundamentals of what makes AI useful and impactful in the real world.
Well said. So as you look forward, here's something to think about. How will you combine that essential openness to innovation with thoughtful, critical evaluation? How will you continuously enhance your own professional capabilities in this increasingly AI-augmented world? Chew on that until our next deep dive. Thanks for joining us.